this is the first camp I can, like, you know, enjoy myself and be back. My headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that matters to me.
The things out there about the size and all of this stuff, but people forget that Tank's a top 10 pound for pound fighter, and he's got power in both hands. And skill-wise and technique-wise, he's been doing this for so long.
I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. You know, he's a real fighter, you know, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, you know, I've personally seen Tank, you know, spar heavyweight.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, a matchup nobody saw coming. Two stars from completely different worlds are about to collide in the same ring. Both hungry, both determined to prove they're the best. The anticipation is real, and the entire boxing world is watching.
It's night and day, right? You have to understand, I went from doing YouTube and Disney Channel to 5 years, you know, once or twice a day, 6 to 7 days a week, training, recovery, taking it more serious than ever. I'm just a different specimen. My body is filled out. I'm going into my athletic prime, and going into that and my body filling out, I just feel amazing. It feels super strong.
Jake Paul has been vocal about the intense training he's putting himself through for the upcoming clash with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. He's confident, saying his camp is stacked with real talent, and he's already dropped a few sparring partners along the way. But what really caught attention was his admission that Shakur Stevenson is joining him this week to help fine-tune his strategy for Tank. For once, Jake sounded humble, calling Davis a dangerous opponent. Critics often label Tank as too small for someone like Paul, but Jake isn't buying it. He admits that Tank's power is real, both hands heavy, compact, and explosive. When Jake confessed that this fight actually scares him, it revealed something deeper: respect. That fear isn't weakness, it's recognition. This fight isn't just hype, it's real.
Going into a fight that I've actually ever been, because I know how good these people are that I'm sparring, and being able to see how good they are and knowing how good Tank is, it's actually going to be my toughest test to date.
Yeah, I think, Jake, you could make the argument, right? Pound for pound wise, this guy's the most ferocious dude in the whole sport, couldn't you?
For sure. I think he has probably one of the highest knockout percentages.
Yeah, 90-something%, right?
Exactly. And just his speed, his elusiveness, his ring IQ, his conditioning. You know, he's gone 12 rounds so many different times, something that I've never even done. So he's going to be sharp all the way through. I mean, the list goes on. And so just actually being vulnerable for a second, it's like, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night.
Jake, how do you prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you? How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, you know, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, you know, been doing this their whole entire lives, but we're really focusing on speed and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
Most fans have no idea about the truth behind Gervonta "Tank" Davis's journey. From the very start of his career, Tank wasn't sparring average fighters. He was going rounds with full-sized heavyweights. And not just any heavyweights, skilled, seasoned ones who knew exactly how to control a ring. According to analyst Showbiz the Adult, Tank didn't just hold his own in those sessions. He dominated them. He punished men much bigger than him. So if he could survive and outshine those giants, a cruiserweight like Jake Paul isn't going to rattle him. Jake may be the larger man, but Tank has faced taller, stronger, and far more technical fighters before. Those early gym wars forged him into the machine he is today.
Or bigger people, like from middleweight to heavyweight. And the thing is, don't be surprised, okay? This is a photo. This is a photo of one of the bigger guys that he was sparring. But in the past, you know, like maybe a few years ago, he was fighting a guy in Mayweather's camp. He was a bigger guy. I think he was like a middleweight or something like that. He was whooping his ass. One time he was like on live whooping a bigger guy's ass. I mean, he's just beating bigger guys like middleweights and stuff, he's done that in sparring forever. Remember this story? I've brought it up a million times and I've showed this clip a million times, but on Ellie Set Back. This story of this guy saying how Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out this heavyweight.
Tell me the story. What happened?
What's the one boy name?
No, don't say a name. I don't want to embarrass anyone.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. I'm like, I thought he died. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought he died.
Hey, I've seen him knock out some heavyweights. He might knock Wild ass out now.
You knocked out a heavyweight?
Yeah.
How was that?
Cause I hit harder than Wilder.
Now, granted, the heavyweights that Gervonta Tank Davis is whooping and sparring is not like, all-time great heavyweights, all right? And it shouldn't be. But he's sparring the level of heavyweight that, more experienced than Jake Paul, right? But Jake Paul has beaten those heavyweights himself, all right? I'm thinking that is the caliber of heavyweight that Gervonta Tank Davis is sparring, but he's whooping their asses. And that's a good thing. With Jake Paul sparring Raymond Ford, to me, it looked like Raymond Ford got the best of him. It looked like Jake Paul was a little exhausted, and it looked like Raymond Ford wasn't. It looked like Jake Paul was a little disappointed in his performance, and Raymond Ford was trying to give him a pick-me-up. Like, just kind of letting them know. No, like, we do this and do that. It just looked like Raymond Ford was in a confident, secure place, more dominant place, the more alpha out the two in the ring, and that's Raymond Ford. That ain't Gervonta Davis. I love Raymond Ford. I have him on my fighters list. But still, I don't think anyone thinks he's as skillful or as powerful as Gervonta Tank Davis.
Gervonta Tank. Davis has made his decision. He's not going back to 135 pounds. The brutal weight cuts, the exhaustion, the drain, it's all behind him now. Tank wants to stay sharp, strong, and fully fueled. His move to 140 isn't just a physical change, it's a mindset shift. It's about growth, maturity, and control. This is the version of Tank that's no longer chasing comfort. He's chasing greatness. The jump to super lightweight opens new doors, bigger names, and tougher challenges, starting with Jake Paul. Once this mega fight concludes, Tank plans to remain at 140 permanently, believing it's where he performs at his absolute best. Here, he's faster, fresher, and more explosive than ever before. While critics argue that Jake's natural size gives him an edge, Tank disagrees. He believes this is where his body feels alive, where his stamina peaks and his power turns lethal. At 135, his knockouts were already spectacular, but at 140, they might be terrifying. This new version of Tank Davis is stronger, hungrier, and more dangerous. And Jake Paul might be the first man to experience exactly what that means.
Or had been throwing fits a few weeks ago when Gervonta had announced that he would be fighting Jake Paul in, I believe it's coming up in just about a month, or a little bit less than a month. And that he would not be, at least immediately, he would not be rematching Lamont Roach. So people went all up in arms. Shout out to my guy, Big Dog Willie, who even right now is claiming that Gervonta Davis is going to go try to fight in WWE or something like that when he gets done with Jake Paul. But the truth of the matter is that Gervonta Davis is coming back to boxing. He's always said that he's coming back to boxing. He said he's going to run off, get this bag real quick, and he'll be right back. Well, as you see, the 135-pound WBA, the WBA, where he holds his 135-pound championship, has not stripped him. They said that they were going to look into it if he had not rematched Lamont Roach, but nothing ever really came of that. So as of right now, he still has his 135-pound title, but I'm telling you, the way that things are panning out, I don't think he's going to go back down to the 135-pound division. I think he's going to go to the 140-pound division where really and truly all the smoke is there. Add to it the fact that when he fights Jake Paul, he's going to be fighting Jake Paul at a higher weight than he would necessarily be fighting guys at 135 pounds. You're probably not going to see him drain down for the fight. I don't think he's going to bulk up at all. But usually even when guys play with their weight and they go up and allow themselves to fight at a higher weight or fight people at higher weight classes.
Carmel Moughton has shared his take, and he's confident. In his eyes, Tank Davis has the clear edge. Carmamel explains that Tank's history of sparring with heavyweights proves one thing: size won't bother him. Jake Paul may be the bigger man, but Tank is the smarter fighter. The real gap isn't in weight, it's in skill. According to Carmamel, Tank is a master of the craft, while Jake is still learning the finer details of boxing. He doesn't just predict Tank to win, he expects him to win convincingly. Having seen Tank train up close, Carmamel's words carry real weight. He's witnessed the discipline, the timing, the focus. To him, this fight isn't about muscle, it's about mastery.
Where's Jake Paul?
I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, entertaining. It's an exhibition, so we're gonna see how serious they really take it, but I don't know, they both getting a lot of money, so, congrats to them.
What if you had it, who has the edge in this fight?
I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, I've personally seen Tank, spar heavyweights, and even me, I spar heavyweights, So the weight's not really too much, for a lot of great fighters, so I feel like Tank gonna get it for sure.
Do you think he kind of be an advantage because he's small and fast? Someone said that, I'm I didn't think about that actually.
Yeah, possibly, he gonna see a lot of Jake Paul's punches coming, he can be able to evade them and then set him up for a big counter.
Wait, but do you think this is going to be different than the other Jake Paul fights we've seen, against Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez? I know a lot of people weren't the happiest with that, but I feel like Tank's going to give him a different fight. Do you think so?
I think so. We'll see how he adapts to, because a lot of people think it's hard, for a small guy to be fighting a bigger guy, but it's also hard for a big guy to be fighting a smaller guy. It's a small target, they're very fast, so we'll have to see how he adapts to it.
Wait, and is Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson really happening?
Yeah, that's happening.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a date already, or what's going on?
I'm not. I don't think there's a date yet, but it's definitely an official fight and it's happening.
So, what do you got to say about that? What's going on?
It's gonna be a great show. Floyd's gonna do his thing. Hopefully I'm on the undercard so I can put on a great show as well.
No, really? You guys already talked about that?
Not yet, no, but we'll have to see. Yeah, for sure.
And are you gonna fight again this year? What's next with you, Carmel?
I don't know. At the moment, we haven't heard nothing. We're just waiting, staying patient, staying ready. But I should be back at least one more time before the end of the year.
When the fight was first announced, Shakur Stevenson was one of the loudest critics. He questioned why a world-class champion like Gervonta Davis would step into the ring with a YouTuber turned boxer instead of facing another elite professional. To Shakur, this matchup felt like an insult to the sport he's dedicated his life to. But now, things have taken a surprising twist. Reports suggest that Jake Paul offered Shakur a hefty financial deal to join his training camp, helping him prepare specifically for Tank's style. That move has raised plenty of eyebrows. Analysts point out the irony. If Shakur truly believed this fight disrespected boxing, why get involved? Yet once the money appeared, he accepted. The same fight he once mocked as a circus is now the one he's indirectly helping to build. Observers say it's a perfect reminder of how fast opinions can change, especially when the business side of boxing steps into the ring.
A lot of money to help him in camp, easy money to come spar somebody or whatever, go get your money, right? But what's funny to me is for someone who had nothing positive to say about this fight, and someone who was critical of Tank Davis for taking this fight, and tried to shit on Tank Davis for taking this fight, he sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of it. He sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of the fight. And then to take that a step deeper and a step further, for someone who doesn't want to talk about Tank Davis anymore, he sure is making moves to ensure that he is continued to be mentioned with Gervonta Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson is not stupid. The new firm that he hired to do his PR work and get him to do these interviews and try to enhance his brand, they not stupid. Jake Prince not stupid. Josh Dubin not stupid. The people around Shakur Stevenson have been building social media brands, building boxers, and building talent in different industries at the same time. I mean, for a long time. They know how this shit works. They not dumb. They know the conversation that is going to surround Shakur helping Jake Paul. Tank Davis' biggest rival going to camp to help Jake Paul. If Jake Paul has any kind of success in the fight, Jake Paul was successful because Shakur Stevenson is on a different level and he helped prepare Jake Paul for the fight with Tank. That's why Jake Paul did so good. They know this, bro. And to me, that's the problem that I always have with these guys like Shakur Stevenson. You can throw Lamont Roach in there. You can throw Devin Haney in there, bro. You can throw Keyshawn Davis in there if you want to. My issue is they won't admit what it is. And I guess it's an ego thing, it's a pride thing, because I get it, bro.
Some analysts have pointed out that much of the criticism directed at Gervonta Davis doesn't actually come from concern for the sport. It comes from envy. They argue that jealousy has followed Davis since the early days of his career. And now that he's on the verge of earning a record-breaking payday, that jealousy has only grown stronger. These experts believe that many of the same voices questioning his choices would jump at the same opportunity if it were offered to them. Instead of celebrating Tank's success, they choose to criticize it. In reality, much of the negativity surrounding Davis isn't about boxing at all. It's about wishing they were in his position.
You saw Jake Paul and Tank Davis?
I don't understand how that's happening, though.
I mean, that's kind of what Jake Paul does, right?
The nigga's 7'8". 6'7". I'm not saying 7'8", like the nigga's
so what?
6'4".
So you think Jake wins?
Yes.
This is kind of like the Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. And Mayweather, he got the better of Logan for sure. I think Logan's even bigger.
Than Jake? Fuck no.
Logan's bigger than Jake, yeah. Like bigger, yeah. But Jake's now a more experienced boxer than probably Logan was at that time.
I don't know. That weight shit, man, that shit is a real thing.
What's the odds on that shit? I wonder. Not out yet?
Who do you think will win out of Canelo?
I don't really follow boxing like
Canelo,
that.
Man. I like Canelo. I like my boy, but Canelo's just
Canelo's a beast.
He not old. He still got it. He hit hard as a motherfucker. And then like the fighters he fought and lost to was some dogs though. Like most people won't get in the ring with him. So it's like I feel like I don't know. Has he got the? I don't know. I feel like he gonna win though. What's that? What's the odds on that?
Oh, listen to this. Davis is minus 205 to beat Jake Paul. Jake Paul plus 155.
Wow, that's tight odds. Tank Davis is minus 205. Jake Paul's 155 opening odds. Dude, that's crazy. I don't know.
Tank 5'2" though, but it's like he's so short.
Fast. Yeah.
I'm saying the height difference is
like,
crazy.
Is Jake even gonna be able to hit him? Like he's probably so fast. Tank's gonna be able to hit Jake.
He's short though.
Tank's gonna hit him a lot, right?
How tall is Tank? 5'7"? He's like 6'3". So different. That's
no, I know.
6'3" and big. Now technique, he got him in technique because he's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I gotta see that fight. That shit sound crazy.
You gamble on football? You sports bet?
You have to pay him a lot of money to that fight.
Oh, they're making so much money.
There's also been a lot of debate about the rumored payouts for this fight. Figures between $20 and $40 million seem realistic to most analysts. But when reports start claiming that both fighters could earn close to $200 million each, that's when the skepticism kicks in. Many within the boxing world believe those numbers sound exaggerated, almost too good to be true. There's no doubt this event is massive, and the attention it's drawing is global. But earning that kind of money in a single night still feels far-fetched to many experts. For now, the financial side of this showdown remains a mystery. Impressive, but uncertain.
Fire! I get the chance to pick a great business mind brain and help give him some game in the process. I'm down. Oh, we know you're down. So for one, you look like you hating on Tank, bro. Like you specifically. Two, this is the same guy that said he's not watching the fight, but now you're somewhat taking part in the fight because you're trying to gather or help prepare Jake Paul for the fight. And then this is what Shakur Stevenson does, in my opinion. Shakur will make questionable choices, do certain things, right? And then afterwards, he'll be like, yeah, now that I got y'all attention, I got everybody mad at me. Bro, the stuff you're doing is weird. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, to me, it's almost close to like Karen behavior, in the sense that Karens, you see some of these Karens and they do all this extra stuff and then act like the victim. And I told you that's one of the main problems with Gen Z, right? Where Gen Z, they will do just weird things, make weird choices, make weird decisions, and then they'll act like, man, I'm Tupac, me against the world, everybody's against me. Everybody's not against you. You're just doing weird things. You're making weird decisions, it's weird behavior, so on and so forth. So let's ultimately recap. We got to do the Boxing Ego recap to see what's really going on here.
Showbiz explained that the heavyweights Tank once sparred with were sharper and more experienced than Jake will ever be at this stage. Sure, Jake has made real progress. He's evolved from internet fame into legitimate boxing territory. But Tank has lived this life since his teens. He's fought elite talent for years. So when you look at it that way, this fight isn't a mismatch in Tank's favor. It's Jake Paul who's stepping into dangerous territory.
It says 150 to 200 mil.
That'd be the most any athlete's ever made in one event, in one night. Where are they getting that money?
I mean, it's Netflix.
Okay. Mike Tyson didn't make that. Jake Paul didn't make that.
Yeah. 20 million, I would believe, not 200 million.
20 million seems realistic.
That's a lot.
Even because Netflix is bigger, but there's no pay-per-view model, so. And Gervonta is a big pay-per-view draw, especially for being a lighter weight class.
Yeah.
So 20 to even 40 I can get.
Oof, that's a lot.
40 I can understand.
When push comes to shove, though, you know,
like Canelo's getting that 40.
Yeah.
But Gervonta Davis, he was especially on Showtime, he's a big pay-per-view star.
Yeah.
He's a knockout artist.
Mm-hmm.
200 mil is just completely false.
Man, I mean,
you swipe. What it says? Swipe to read more. What else does it say?
No, there's nothing there. That's probably from the original.
God, Jake is so much bigger.
Yeah, man.
That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest boxing news and breakdowns. Until next time, keep your guard up.